The starship Eclipse hovered silently above the neon-lit city of Zorith, capital of the Andromedan Empire. Inside, Captain Jason Hale adjusted his uniform, his heart pounding like a war drum. He had been summoned to the Imperial Palace, and he had no idea why. Jason was a human, one of the few allowed to serve in the Andromedan military. His exceptional piloting skills and tactical genius had earned him respect, but he was still an outsider. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy, and their presence often raised eyebrows. As the shuttle descended onto the palace landing pad, Jason's mind raced. Was he being promoted, demoted, or worse, exiled? He stepped out into the crisp alien air, the twin moons casting an eerie glow over the towering spires of the palace. A royal guard, clad in shimmering silver armor, approached him. "Captain Hale, follow me." Jason obeyed, his boots clicking against the polished obsidian floor. The palace was a labyrinth of corridors, each more opulent than the last. Finally, they reached a massive set of doors adorned with intricate carvings of celestial beings. The guard pushed them open, revealing the throne room. At the far end of the room sat Empress Lyra, her regal presence commanding the space. Beside her stood Princess Selene, the heir to the Andromedan throne. Jason had seen her before, of course. Her image was everywhere, but seeing her in person was something else entirely. Her skin shimmered like starlight, her eyes a deep, otherworldly violet. She was breathtaking. "Captain Hale," Empress Lyra began, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You have been summoned here for a matter of great importance." Jason saluted. "Your Majesty, I am at your service." The Empress exchanged a glance with her daughter before continuing. "The Andromedan Empire is at a crossroads. Our alliance with the neighboring star systems is fragile, and we require a symbol of unity to strengthen our bonds." Jason frowned. "With all due respect, Your Majesty, what does this have to do with me?" Princess Selene stepped forward, her gaze locking onto his. "Captain Hale, you have been chosen to marry me." Jason's jaw dropped. I'm sorry, what?" The Empress nodded. A union between a human and an Andromedan princess would send a powerful message to the galaxy. It would show that our empire is inclusive, progressive, and willing to bridge the gap between species. Jason's mind reeled. This had to be a joke. "Your Majesty, with all due respect, I'm just a soldier. I'm not royalty." "You are a hero," Selene interjected, her voice soft but firm. "Your actions during the Battle of Cygnus Prime saved countless lives. You are respected by your peers and admired by the people. That is why you were chosen." Jason opened his mouth to protest, but the Empress raised a hand, silencing him. "This is not a request, Captain. It is a decree. The wedding will take place in 1 week's time." The days that followed were a blur. Jason was whisked away to a suite in the palace, where he was fitted for extravagant robes and bombarded with etiquette lessons. The palace staff treated him with a mix of curiosity and reverence, but Jason couldn't shake the feeling that he was trapped in a surreal dream. Princess Selene, however, seemed determined to make the best of the situation. She visited him often, engaging him in conversations about Earth, his life and his dreams. Despite his initial reservations, Jason found himself drawn to her. She was intelligent, compassionate, and surprisingly down-to-earth. Well, as down-to-earth as an alien princess could be. One evening, as they strolled through the palace gardens, Selene turned to him. "Do you resent me for this?" Jason hesitated. "I don't resent you. I don't understand why it has to be me." Selene smiled faintly. "Perhaps it's fate. Or perhaps it's simply because you're the only one who didn't try to impress me with false flattery." Jason chuckled. "I guess honesty has its perks." As the days passed, Jason began to see Selene in a new light. She wasn't just a princess. She was a visionary, someone who genuinely cared about her people and the future of the empire. And though their relationship had started under unusual circumstances, Jason couldn't deny the growing connection between them. The day of the wedding arrived, and the palace was abuzz with activity. Representatives from across the galaxy had gathered to witness the historic event. Jason stood at the altar, his heart pounding as the music began to play. Princess Selene appeared at the end of the aisle, her gown a cascade of starlight and silk. She moved with grace and confidence, her eyes never leaving his. As she reached his side, Jason felt a surge of emotion he couldn't quite explain. The ceremony was a blend of Andromedan and human traditions. They exchanged vows, their words echoing through the grand hall. When the officiant declared them bonded for life, the crowd erupted into applause. But just as Jason leaned in to kiss his new bride, the ground beneath them shook violently. The lights flickered, and the sound of alarms filled the air. "What's happening?" Jason demanded, instinctively moving to shield Selene. A holographic message appeared above the throne, revealing the face of a menacing figure. "Empress Lyra, your reign ends today. Surrender the throne or face annihilation." It was General Kral, a rogue warlord who had been exiled years ago. He had returned with an army, and his ships were now descending upon the city. Chaos erupted as the guests scrambled for safety. Jason turned to Selene. "We need to get you out of here." Selene shook her head. "No, I won't abandon my people." Jason hesitated, then nodded. "Then we fight together." The battle that followed was fierce. Jason and Selene led the defense, their bond giving them strength. Jason's tactical expertise and Selene's knowledge of the palace's defenses proved to be a formidable combination. As they fought side by side, Jason realized that this was more than just a marriage of convenience. He had found a partner, someone who challenged and inspired him. And Selene, for all her royal upbringing, had found someone who saw her not as a princess, but as an equal. In the end, they emerged victorious. General Kral was captured, and the city was saved. The people of Zoreth hailed them as heroes, their union now a symbol of hope and resilience. As the dust settled, Jason and Selene stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the city. The twin moons cast a soft glow over the landscape, and for the first time in weeks, Jason felt a sense of peace. "So," Selene said, a playful smile on her lips, "how does it feel to be married to an alien princess?" Jason grinned. "It's not what I expected, but I wouldn't trade it for anything." Selene leaned into him, her head resting on his shoulder. "Neither would I." And as they stood there, hand in hand, Jason realized that sometimes the most unexpected twists in life lead to the greatest adventures.